For the alkalinity test, you will need your low limit water sample, whatever water you will be using to test at that time, a purple indicator included in the kit, small pipette, and the vials of sulfuric acid that are included. For the demonstration today, we will only be testing the local treated water sample. First step is to measure 50 milliliters of water into the empty plastic cups that came with the Operation Water Drop kit. Next, you are going to take the purple indicator and squeezing on the bulb of the included pipette, you will suck some of that indicator up into the pipette. Then you will add 7 drops. And you'll return the remaining indicator liquid to the small vial. The indicator will stain, so it is important to use gloves for this demonstration and to lay down a towel of some sort. You are going to mix the indicator into the water sample. Next, you are going to take the sulfuric acid, and very slowly you are going to add this to your water sample until it becomes purple. Swirling at the same time. Very close to the purple color now. And we have purple. Now that your water has changed to the purple color, you are going to check how much of the sulfuric acid it required to change that by measuring from where the level started to where you are now, as indicated on the vial. Once you have recorded that, you will add the remainder of the sulfuric acid to the water and take notes on any color change that occurs with that. It should go to a paler color as you dilute the indicator. And that is the alkalinity test.
Hi everyone, today we're going to test the ammonia. So we're going to complete the ammonia test by having the ammonia sample and getting out one of the ammonia test strips. We're going to dip the ammonia test strip into the ammonia sample for 5 seconds. Then we will move it pad face up and just hold it like that for 1 minute. We will not shake off any of the excess water. And so I'm going to dip it in for 5 seconds. 1,000, 2,000. Okay. And now I bring this out and I'm careful to not shake off any excess water. And I'm just going to lay it flat. And then I'm going to also test the local water sample. So here we have some local water, in our case Saskatoon tap water. And I'm going to dip the test strip in for 5 seconds and then take it out and again lay it flat. So I'm going to have this face up, lay it flat, and I'm waiting 1 minute now. So now we see that we have the ammonia AEUL test strip, and we can compare it to the colors. So it looks like it's around between 1 and 2. And we can also compare the local treated water to the color chart as well. We can see that this is about 0.5. And since it's lighter than the ammonia sample, then we know that it passes in terms of this test.
I will now perform the color analysis test. For this test, you will need a control beaker for the deionized water, a beaker for your Canadian guideline sample that is included in the test, and a beaker for however many treated sources you are choosing to use. For this demonstration, we'll be only using the local treated water source, so we only need one extra beaker. For this test, you also need a blank piece of paper to hold the water samples above. To begin with, you will pour an equal amount of each kind of water into the tubes. The source sample that you are choosing to test should be in the middle of the other two tubes. Finally, you'll add the water Canadian guideline sample, pouring the same amount as you did with the other into the tube, and that one should be on the outside of the source water you are testing. Next, you will hold these samples directly over the paper, and looking down onto the white surface, you will determine whether any of the samples look lighter or darker from each other. The deionized water and the control guideline Canada sample should look similar, and your source water that you're choosing to test may look either lighter or darker depending on the quality. For the copper analysis, you will need the indicator test strip with the indications included on the back, the copper sample, and whatever kind of water you are testing. For this demonstration, we will just be using the included copper sample that measures out to 10 milliliters. The first step is to take the copper sample and pour it into a beaker of some sort to be able to move the test indicator around in it to get a good read. Your next step is to open up your test indicator strip from the side that says open, because we do not want to touch the foam applicator that is on the bottom of that strip. Carefully removing the test strip and trying to keep our indicators intact on the back, you will take the test strip and insert it in the sample and move it gently back and forth for 30 seconds. Now you'll remove the test strip from the beaker and allow it to sit for 2 minutes before comparing it to the indicator. And now that our indicator strip has sat for 2 minutes, we can compare it to the color chart on the back of the indicator strip package to determine what the color indicates in terms of the amount of copper in the sample. If it does not match exactly to any one of the dots, feel free to record a number in between the dots. For the pH test, you have your buffer agent, indicator strips, and your local test water. The beakers that are included can be labeled with each different kind of water you are testing, but for this demonstration we're only using one, so we will skip the labeling process. The buffer can be tested in its own tube. To begin, pour the water you are testing into the beaker. Next, take one of the pH indicator strips from the vial included. You will place that indicator strip into the vial and you will leave it for 2 minutes. Once the indicator strip has sat for 2 minutes, you will lay it across the top to dry for 30 seconds. You will then use the color indicator page that came with the test strip and compare it. The test should be read while the indicator strip is still moist. As you can see, it matches up fairly nicely, and if it doesn't match exactly to one number, feel free to put down a number in between the two shown. For the sulfate test, you need your deionized water, sulfate reagents 1 and 2, the sulfate sample, pipettes, and empty glasses included in your water drop kits, equaling the number of different water sources you are testing. You have a control glass as well as a glass for the water source you are testing, and for this demonstration we will only be testing the local treated water, and so we will only need 2 cups. To begin with, you will measure 25 milliliters of deionized water into both of the empty plastic cups. It is important to keep the pipettes being used for each separate cup separate and to only use them in their own cup. To begin with, for the control cup, we will take 2 milliliters of water using the pipette and add it to the control cup. Next, we will take sulfate reagent number 1 and add it to that control cup. Next, we will take reagent number 2 and we will add that while swirling the cup to the control cup. You'll continue to swirl that control cup for approximately 1 minute. Once it has been swirled for approximately 1 minute, you will set it aside and move on to your cup of water filled with the treated water sample from your local source. For this sample, you will add the 2 milliliter sulfate CGLS included in the test to the water glass. Next, you will add the sulfate reagent number 1. And again, while swirling the cup, you will add sulfate reagent number 2. You will once again swirl this cup for approximately 1 minute. Now, in order to perform the test, you will compare the cloudiness of different cups to each other to determine the levels of sulfate present in the water. For this, you need whatever water source you are testing and the total chlorine test strips, which come included in the Operation Water Drop kit. The test strips have color indicators on the back of the package. To begin, you will measure approximately 50 milliliters of water into a beaker or a plastic cup. Next, you will open up the test strip from the side that says open. After carefully removing the test strip, making sure not to touch the indicator down at the bottom, you will put the test strip in the water for 5 seconds, moving it back and forth. Shake off any excess water on the strip briefly and lay it across the rim of the cup or the beaker to dry for 30 seconds. Once it is dried for 30 seconds, you will only have approximately 15 seconds to perform the test, or it will no longer be as accurate. To check what the color indicates the level of total chlorine is, you will take the test strip and you will put the clear middle center over a white part next to the test, and you will compare it to find the most accurate color. If it does not quite match any of the colors exactly, feel free to put a number in between the ones indicated on the test strip. The total hardness test includes a total hardness quality water sample, as well as a number of test strips with color indicators included on the back. For this demonstration, we will only be using the sample water. However, when you do the test with your classes, you will use all the different sources of water that you have chosen to test. For this test, you'll remove the cap from the sample, which includes 10 milliliters of water. Then you will open your total hardness test strip from the side that says open, being careful not to touch the sponge applicator on the bottom. Next, you will dip the test strip into the water for 3 seconds. You will remove the test strip and hold it steady, not shaking it, waiting for 20 seconds. After 20 seconds have passed, you will compare the test strip to the color indicators on the back of the test strip package. The color will remain stable for about 1 minute. After that, the results will no longer be accurate. If the color block does not match any of the colors exactly, feel free to choose a color in between and record that data.